wet. This right here is a tall goldenrod. Today we're going to explore how to use tall goldenrod to make a vibrant yellow dye. Goldenrod is a common native plant that's easy to find, and its bright yellow flowers create a stunning natural color. So let's get started. Before we get to collecting, let's take a moment to properly identify a tall goldenrod. This herbaceous perennial can grow to be up to 7 feet tall and is typically found in sunny, open areas like fields and along roadsides. You'll recognize it by its tall, erect stems and those beautiful golden yellow flowers which bloom from August to November. The flowers grow in dense, feathery, pyramid-shaped inflorescences that bend at the top of the stem. Each tiny head within the inflorescence contains even more smaller florets. A single flower head can have 5 ray flowers that are all female and resemble petals, as well as many disc flowers that can be sterile, bisexual, or straight up male. While this species can be super weedy, it's also very important for pollinators. So if you're looking for a native plant to outcompete some really nasty invasives, then tall goldenrod may be the perfect one for you to look at. If we take a look at the leaves, we can see that they are about 2.5 to 6 inches long, but under an inch wide, so they're long and skinny. Also, they are alternate, toothed, lance-shaped, rough on the upper surface, and a bit pubescent on the undersurface. The stem is also a bit pubescent. A few weeks after pollination takes place, the fruits, which are dry achenes with feathery pappus, will appear. They are dispersed by the wind, and a lot of songbirds like to indulge themselves with the seeds. But now that we know how to identify tall goldenrod, let's go ahead and collect some. While collecting, be sure to only take the flowers. There's really no need to take the whole plant. Also, don't take all of the flowers in one area. Leave some for the pollinators. Alright, so we're here in my kitchen with my collected goldenrods, and I've got all of these lovely flowers. So they're still on the stems, and we only really want the flowers. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a bowl, and we're just going to slide the flowers off, just like that, okay? So I'm going to do that to all of these, and I'll see you in like an hour. Alright, these are all my little flowers, and here are my discarded stems. But no, it only took me about 20 minutes, so it didn't take too terribly long to get to this point. But now we're going to take all these, and we're going to put them inside of a nice big pot. So just dump them all in there. And now we just want to cover these up with water, so I'm going to grab some water. Now, like I said, we're just going to cover them up with the water. Move that around a little bit just so all the flowers are all nice and covered. Then we're going to set our heat to high just so that we get to a boil point. And I'm going to cover this. We're going to cover it and we're going to wait for it to boil, and it should take like 10 minutes. I'm going to come back to that. While we're waiting for our dye to boil, what we're going to do is we're going to take a saucepan and fill it up with water just like this. And we're going to grab our Mordant. So I'm going to use alum for this dye. I used iron the first time I tried, and I'll show you what happens when you use iron versus alum. It is a very vast difference. So we're going to use alum. So I'm using 10 to 15% of the weight of my cloth. I'm trying to dye a nice little medium white t-shirt. So we're just going to add our alum powder to our water here, and then we're going to set our temperature to high, and we're going to wait for this to boil as well. But while we're waiting for this to boil, let me show you what happens when you use alum powder versus iron. So here I have a bottle of this old goldenrod dye that I made the first time, because I saved just a little bit of it just in case I needed to, and I did in fact need to, because I messed up the first time. I was shooting for a yellow dye, and a yellow dye I did not achieve. So this right here is the alum powder, and this right here is our iron. So I'm going to add our yellow dye to the alum powder, and we're going to mix it around. Okay. Makes a nice little yellowish pea color. Okay, so cute. That's what we're shooting for. Now we're going to add it to the iron. Okay. Now we're going to mix it around. Oh, and splash it everywhere. As you can see, it gets a lot darker. So as we keep mixing it around, it just gets darker, darker, darker. All right, now you can see that it's very dark. It's like a dark brown right now, but it's actually like a dark green color. So when you dye something with this, it's going to come out to be a dark green. And I'll show you what I made with this color dye. I was actually quite shocked when I was dyeing something and I moved from my Mordant solution over to the dye, and then it just all turned this really dark brown color because I was expecting this nice light yellow color. But no, now we can mix them together. Ooh. Ooh. Maybe if you want this color green, you can just have fun and mix all the Mordants together. But no, let me show you what I made the first time. I just want to say that I claim this shirt as my sort of happy little accident because while it wasn't what I was expecting, I do really like this shirt. And beyond the color, its pattern is also really strange. I think I let it sit in the pot undisturbed for too long. So for this period in time, for like the dye that we're making right now, I'm going to try to stir the shirt every 10 minutes or so, just so that everything gets nice and evenly colored. But this is the shirt that I made. Isn't it cute? It's like a little dark green camo shirt. Let me see if I can't get you a better view. Like, look at that pattern. It's so cool to me. It's like cow print, but like camouflage. It's just, oh my gosh, I love it so much. Now let's see if I can't. Oh, I guess my counter was a little wet. But you get the idea. You get the idea. It's so cool. It reminds me of fire, cow print, camo. I know I've said that like 1,000 times. But it's just really cool to me. I really like it, even though it's not yellow, which was what I was aiming for. So if you add iron to your dye, this is what you're going to get. At least the color. And the pattern is probably a result of me letting it sit for too long. So, yeah, without stirring it. All right, our Mordant solution is boiling, so we're gonna go ahead and lower the heat. I'm gonna take it down to medium. Woo! I'm gonna add our white t-shirt to our solution. And I'm just gonna make sure it's all nice and soaked in there. Want it all nice and covered. Okay, now I'm just gonna cover this back up, and it has to soak inside the solution for 30 minutes. All right, our dye has begun to boil, so we're just gonna let it keep on boiling for about another half hour. All right, it's been a half hour, so we're gonna go ahead and take this off the heat. This is our t-shirt that is in our Mordant solution. We're gonna take that off the heat and turn our heat off. And then let's take a peek at our dye solution. All right, it's still bubbling away, so we're just gonna turn our heat off. And then we're going to go ahead and drain our dye solution. So I'm gonna take this over to the sink. All right, I've just got a bowl with a cheesecloth in it, and I'm just gonna pour our, our dye and flowers into this bowl. Oh, there it goes. It's got a nice golden color to it. Hold on. I don't want this falling down. That defeats the whole purpose of the cheesecloth. Okay. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay. So now I'm gonna take this cheesecloth and drain all of that dye out. Here, let me get a better look at it. It looks like if if somebody had not drinking enough water for the day. Let me get my tongs to kind of squish out some of this dye that's still in there. Okay, so now we're gonna take our nice pea-colored dye. And we're gonna add it back to our pot. I cleaned out the pot, got all of those little flowers, except for one of them, but oh well. I'm just gonna add it to the pot. And I'm gonna turn the heat back on. I'm gonna turn it back to high. And now, I've got like 1,000 things everywhere. But we're gonna go ahead and take our t-shirt that was sitting inside of our Mordant solution. Make sure we get as much of that off as possible. We're gonna take our t-shirt and we're gonna move it on over to our dye solution. All right, it's not turning green. So far so good. It's a nice, lovely yellow color. So I'm happy about that. Okay, it's got even brighter yellow, so I'm really happy about that. This is going really well so far. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm just gonna keep on mixing this to hopefully it gets nice, evenly covered. Nice and evenly covered, I can't speak. All right, this is what we're looking like so far, and I'm really liking it. This is a really nice yellow. But we're just gonna leave it inside of this solution. I'm gonna spread it out a little bit, and we're gonna leave it inside of our dye solution for about 30 minutes. We're gonna let it go for about 30 minutes. And I'm gonna come and stir it about every 10 minutes, just to like flip it around. So hopefully we don't get that splotching pattern. So I'm gonna leave it covered for that 30 minutes. And it's still on high. All right, see you then. All right, it's been a half hour and I've stirred this 3 times, made sure it was all nice and evenly coated. So I'm gonna cover this back up and I'm gonna turn our heat off and we're just gonna let it sit for another half hour just in the hot liquid. And I'm gonna still turn it every 10 minutes or so. Okay, now that this has been soaking for about an hour now, we're just going to take this and we're going to wash it out with some cold water in the sink. We're going to keep on rinsing it until the water runs clear. Okay, I think that this is good enough. And this is really holding its color very well. Like, I don't know if it's showing up on camera the best, but this is a really bright yellow. So I'm gonna go ahead and toss this into the washer and dryer and see how well it holds on to its color through that process. Okay, I'm gonna come onto camera, but you guys are gonna literally freak. It looks so good. It turned out amazing. Like, I look like a minion. First off, we're gonna get that out of the way. But, like, look at the color. It's like a solid yellow. And it's like such a cute, bright, light yellow. And it's just like all over, like, oh, don't worry, I'm not stripping. But, like, look at it. That is, like, phenomenal. You know? I'm so happy with how this turned out, and I will be doing more plants in the future, making more colors, because I'm just so happy with how this turned out now that I'm experienced in dye making. Alright, but thank you all for watching, and I hope that you enjoyed learning how to make a yellow dye from goldenrods with me. If you did, be sure to like and subscribe, and I hope to see you all in my next video.